Welcome guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing. Today we're not doing any coding, so what I have with me is a 2020 X3 xDrive30e. Yep, that's the full name. X3 xDrive30e. So this is a plug-in hybrid edition for BMW X3 series, also known as G01. This happens to be the third generation X3 that has been out now. This was redesigned in 2018 for 2020. We actually have a fully plug-in hybrid available with this. So before we go anywhere, starting with the engine, what happens is you have from 330e inline 4 turbo engine that brings over the gasoline. It's about 181 horsepower. And then you have an 80 kilowatt battery, which it's about 12 kilowatt hour, and usable is about 10.8, and gets you around 20 miles on a full electric motor around town. Again, depending on how you drive, it might go to 17, it might go to 20, 21. It just depends on the driving habits and where you live. That gives you about 107 horsepower. So altogether with gas and electric, you have about 288 horsepower engine in this X3, along with 310 foot-pounds of torque. So what BMW is trying to do is BMW is trying to, across the lineup, BMW is trying to do about 25 vehicles by 2023, which are plug-in hybrid or E in their lineup. Currently, they have a 330e, which is a 3 Series. They have a 530e, which is a 5 Series plug-in hybrid. They have an X3e, which is a plug-in hybrid. In the previous generation, X5 also was offered in plug-in hybrid. So let's start from the top front. So anything that you see up here, obviously this price starts for the X3 around $42,000 in xDrive. Then you go up to xDrive, which is all-wheel drive. Then you go into M40i, and then you also have a plug-in hybrid, which this one is. So today I'm going to be strictly talking about a plug-in hybrid. It looks like any other X3. Obviously, this is not M Sport package; it's the X Line package. One of the nice things it actually has an active kidney grills. So depending on your driving conditions, if you're driving electric, if you're driving gas, they actually open up and close. That's for aerodynamics and to make the car more efficient while driving, so you get the best mileage out of the car. Moving over to the side, this one is particularly equipped with LED headlights. So you have LED headlights, and then you also have LED fog lights. Again, this is not the M Sport, this is the X Line package, so that's what you see up here. And then if you were to move over to the side, X3 is standard with 18 inches wheels, but you also have an option of 19 inches, and then you also have an option of 20 inches. These are Y-spoke. I believe these are 668 style. So since this is a plug-in hybrid, this is the charging port that's up front. Obviously, if I press it, it's locked right now because the car is locked. If the car is unlocked, which it is now, you will notice it opens up, and this is what the port looks like. Obviously, before it used to be a ring around, but not. It's a little light on the other side. So you can either plug it at the grocery stores or you can plug it at home. There's a charging port that comes with the car that's in the cargo area. Essentially, depending on 18 to 20 miles per one charge overnight, gets you around town. Average American drives about 20 to 25. So if you were driving around town, grocery stores, shopping, whatever, you will be able to be sufficient enough to use a fully electric motor to get around town, then come back home and plug it in charging again. Or if you happen to go more, there's no need to worry because it comes with a gasoline powered engine, automatically kicks on, and you're ready to go wherever you need to go. It does come with a 13 gallon gas tank. Obviously, the gas tank is a little smaller than the average X3 because there's an electric motor. Once we walk around, I'll show you. Basically, the battery pack sits underneath the second row of the car seat, right down here. So the gas tank has been shifted back towards under the cargo area, and the cargo area has been lifted. Well, what does that mean for an average user? You and I, it's not a big deal. The reason for that is the cubic feet that we will lose does not matter, but the true stats, I will not lie. So this is what I was talking about. Since the gas tank is coming down here, you see the gas tank is here, and you'll notice a little pipe that extends from down here, the pipes, the actual gas tank is underneath this cargo area. That's why this has been raised about 2.5, 3 inches in the car. And then if I were to open this up, this is the port I was talking about, the whole charging system that comes with. This is the 2.0 one. And then also the nice thing is if you were not using this, your cargo cover can be taken off. Instead of leaving it at home in the garage, it can be put down here, so you have a full area. I believe the average, the normal xDrive30e or M40i, the cargo space is about 28 points and some change in cubic feet. Having the electric battery, you lose about a 1.5 foot cubic feet in here of space. If you fold down the seats, it's around 59 cubic feet versus being 62. So it's not a deal breaker. It's still a lot of space in here. And then also you're able to fold the seats down through here if you want to, or you can go in the front and fold them down as well. Also with the X3, there's option to have full LED headlights up front with fog lights, and also have complete LED tail lights as well. Let's see if this one has convenience package. Okay, this one does not have a kick in where you can kick in. So what we'll do is we'll get in, we'll go over the car from the inside now, and then review all the options that we have inside. Okay guys, so we are now inside the xDrive30e. Let's go over the car. A few of the things that I love, a few of the things that I might not like. Let's review them. So first of all, this one has a premium package on it. Premium package involves some of the things that don't come standard, and then there's also a convenience package which is below it. Then there's also M Sport package that you can add, and then after that there's also an executive package. So for example, everybody talks about in BMW executive packages when you get the gestures control for your radio. If you had for example, executive package, you can do this, different gesture options. And then also with this one, BMW is offering the secure safety packages in different variations. So you have your auto mitigation from front end collision that helps the brake assist. You also have your blind spots and so forth. When you're driving, you will have your lane departure assist available in the rear cross traffic, but actually changing the lanes, that's a different package that you get with the Driver Assistance Plus package. Also the adaptive cruise control, as you can see, the buttons on my left hand side has a regular cruise control but does not have the adaptive cruise control that comes with your next package up. On your right hand side you have your plus minus for your audios, picking up the call, talking to the BMW or talking to Apple CarPlay. Yes, by the way, Apple CarPlay is standard now and there's no subscription service with BMW on this car. Unfortunately, I do not have an Apple phone to test it with. I wish I did. Also, I'm being told by July, Android Auto is standard as well. Depending on when this car was manufactured, this one might not have Android Auto on it, so we don't know. I would have to test it. I tried, it didn't work. So, and then also in the center of the steering wheel, there's also your heated steering wheel. It's not on the side dash like it used to be before. One of the things I absolutely love how BMW has done is they have gone away with your analog cluster or partial analog, partial digital. It's 100% digital cluster. You have your tach on your left hand side, your speed on your left hand side, and then you have your tach, your RPM on the right hand side. And then also in the center, you can have your routing, or you can have a map view, or you can have it off. I love the map view. I've driven a couple of the 30i's. I love the map views. This one I was trying to load the navigation up. So as right now you don't see it, but map view is available as well, which is amazing. And coming from F15, I know a lot of guys talked about getting the 6WB cluster, but I give BMW credit. This is fully digitalized cluster, instrument cluster here. Plus what I like about it is, depending if you're in comfort, the setting and the colors change. If you are on eDrive or Max eDrive, it changes, versus Sport Plus lights up into red and so forth. And then obviously you can go to different settings. By default, since you're in US, it's set to miles per hour, but you can also enable kilometers per hour. This car does have a navigation package and does have the front camera, so it also tells you the speed limit, the signs that it sees as well. You'll get a speed limit sign here too, and then you also get a heads-up display. This is a heads-up display and also has a color full color heads-up display, which I love about in this car. And then the different instrument settings. By the way, before I forget, this one is 2020, so it comes with xDrive30e. Obviously, this is also a touchscreen. You can touch with it, or you can use the iDrive controller that's in the center console. Depending on what you're using, you can also use your steering wheel controls as well. Since this is a plug-in hybrid, right now, depending on the camera angle, what you can see and not see, it's telling me I have 9 miles to go. While making this video, it was about 12 or 13, I believe. Turning the car around, getting the angles right. It has dropped, obviously, for the last couple hours. But the way you set it is, right now, I have it set to Sport, I believe Sport Plus, but in the center console, there's a whole Sport, Comfort, Eco Pro, parking, driving assist, and then there's eDrive. So from here, when you touch it, you'll see on the center console versus the instrument cluster, it tells you can have auto drive, which is the blended automatically computer figures out, okay, do I need to pump gas in or do I need to send electric in, and auto configures how it wants to work. Versus you can do battery control, which you can set the battery control. Okay, I want my battery to be saved at 40% so I can use it later, or 30% or 70%, whatever. Or you can do max eDrive. And when you do max eDrive, you're driving 100% on the electric, and obviously you can hear my car start and shut off and so forth. Right now, if I were to go, I can make a round trip 8 to 9 miles depending how I drive, and I'll be using 100% if I do electric motor, which is 107 horsepower I mentioned earlier in the video. And if I turn that off, I'm back into regular gasoline mode. And once we go to the iDrive menu, let's talk about this one a little bit. Like I said, it's a touchscreen. What BMW is offering is they're also offering ambient lighting. If I'm not mistaken, this one does not have it. It's an additional package that comes with the executive package, or you can add it on as a separate as well. Like I mentioned, Bluetooth is standard, obviously. You can hook it up to your car, listen to music. Spotify is integrated into BMW iDrive. And then you have your screen mirroring options, which will involve using the Wi-Fi hotspot if the car is enabled with it. Also, Apple CarPlay that I mentioned earlier. If you go back out, obviously you can have multiple phones connected, BMW Assist that you get with this. And then you have your navigation. And let's go back down to car. So since this is a plug-in hybrid, there are little different settings than a regular one. So what I was referring to earlier, you can charging mode, you can set up how you want to charge immediately, or charge in a time slot, and so forth. And within the settings, so with the iDrive7, also the other BMWs have this, it's laid out this way. You notice there's a general setting, then there's a driving mode. Obviously here I can configure, and the nice thing BMW has done is there is a Sport Plus or Eco, but they also have put in an individual. So I can go in and I can configure my individual mode. Okay, do I want steering to be comfort or sport? Same thing with engine, same thing with transmission, and so forth. And in here I can also do battery control, and here also I can do the max drive that I was showing with the button down here. Just different ways to accessing the menu. Exterior lighting. Obviously this gives you the lighting setup and so forth. There's the one-touch controller for your turn signal. So you touch it, you tap it, goes on 3 times, and then stops. You have your daytime running lights. This one does have LED, so the lighting is going to be amazing outside at nighttime. Your door handle lights come on when you're unlocking and locking the car, and your pathway lighting. Then your driver assistance features. Obviously, it gives you the safety pedestrian warning, and then parking and maneuvering all as well. Again, if you were to have driver assistance plus or the executive package, which will also enhance your parking, you can also have the car park for you, and you can also have the car change lanes if you needed to, and then which adaptive cruise control, and then you can also turn, okay, I want to change lane to right, or I want to change lane to left, and so forth. This one does not have it. This one is equipped with blind spot and rear cross traffic. Obviously display, you have your
10.25 or 10.2 inches. And you also have, I believe this one is about 13 inches, a little bigger. So you have your displays, and you can configure, okay, what I want to do with instrument panel, heads-up display, what you want to show up in here. So if I go in here, you can see my brightness. I can change it by going right or left, and my changes, and then also I can change the height of it if I wanted to, rotation, what I want to see. For example, this one will show me navigation. I can have driver assistance in here. It will tell me my speed limit, what I'm driving, and also what the street speed limit or the highway speed limit is. And the nice thing I like about this is the display access speed. So if you were driving, and let's say I'm driving at 40 and the speed limit is 35, on the actual cluster, there's a little red line from 35 to 40. Which I think it's neat. It shows you like, okay, I've gone over the speed limit, and this one will tell you the same thing on a heads-up display. And then also you can have the list, how you want to do, and you can have the heads-up display as full big one, or you can have it slimmed down depending on how your preference is. So they're giving a lot of customization to end user consumer, how somebody wants to see the car. Obviously this is the reduced height I was talking about. So now you can see it's further down, or you can take it off and it goes to full height. Same thing with instrument panel. You can customize it. This was what I was referring to earlier with a digital cluster. You can have map in there. You can change it if you wanted to. You can have it off. You can have route preview if you were actually driving with a navigation, and speed limit. And this is what I was referring to, how the gauges show up actually on the speed itself, and then any additional information you want to show up, and so forth. Door access, obviously that's locking. If you want to lock all 4 doors, unlock 4 doors, and so forth. Climate control, and the button remote settings with your key fob. So that's pretty much for iDrive. I love the wood features they have done. I know this one does not have the metallic look to it. It has the wood finish, which looks nice, and they also have added the black along with the wood. One thing I do wish, the silver buttons would go away, and we would make it some sort of different, like previous generations there were ceramic controls. I think that was really nice with this. You have your paddle shifters. Again, this car is not fully loaded, but is well equipped. And then you also have the option of having a wireless charger, which also has a package which comes with a Wi-Fi. And then you have your cup holders, your USB, and a key holder you can add in there. But here where it gets, I give credit to BMW for this. So in your armrest, if you open it up, right in here, they actually put a USB-C. So bravo to BMW for putting a USB-C in here and not a regular USB-A connection. I give them credit for that. There's also space. It's not big enough, but it's still sufficient enough to store stuff in here. So I mentioned the heads-up display is fully colored, which is nice. These are 10-way adjustable seats for your legs. These are manually. They're not controlled by it. You can have heated seats, front and back, and you can also have ventilated seats as additional package. And then you can have lumbar support. It's an added package as well. And then you also have an option of surround view cameras or just rear view camera. Obviously, this one just have a rear view camera, depending on what the options are. And the nice thing is, what BMW has done pretty much on all their X series, either X3, X5, X6. I think X6 might be smaller because it's a hatchback, and X4 is a hatchback. The roof goes all the way back to the second row, and obviously glass won't open. Glass opens halfway, but the actual sunroof inside the shade goes all the way down. But also at the same time, one credit they get is the actual shade. It's not just a paper thin, it's actually pretty thick. And in this one, I know it's a little lighter, but still it's very dark and the light doesn't come through it. So it's still much better than what I've seen on the other cars. Radio, you can offer the hi-fi sound, or you can get Harman Kardon added on. Obviously this is not Harman Kardon system. It's a regular sound system. Depending on your liking, you might want to upgrade. So the xDrive30e starts around 48 and some change. Depending on the federal credit and the state you live in or the city, you might apply for more. And actually the funny part is, when you work up the math, the starting price of xDrive30e is actually below 30i. with the federal credit, and potentially more savings if you had state offers, state credit for plug-in hybrid and electrified car. So this is I'm a 6 foot, I'm sitting in the car, and this is my where I would drive the car in. And it's pretty comfortable. I like the seat, the bolsters on the side, keeps you in tight. I've driven this before. It's very nice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually jump in the back really quick to show you guys the seat in the back as well. So if I get in the back, you will notice my headroom is okay. I have no problem. The seat, I still have about 2 to 3 inches. Obviously, this is not an X5 or X7, but for being an X3, I think it's definitely bigger than the previous generation. In fact, I think it's about 2 or 3 inches bigger overall in length. It's very spacious. And actually back here, if you look, there's also 2 USB-C connection, and then you have your climate controls in the back. So it's a three-way climate control. You have dual up front, 1 in the back with the chargers. A lot of space on the doors for your drinks and other stuff. Seats, pretty comfortable. I think they're not that bad at all, space-wise. And then one thing I've noticed they've done in these cars, you'll notice throughout the car, there's like X on this pillar. If you were to come outside, you'll see X3, so the labeling has changed. And then the nice thing with these is these seats actually move back and forward, so you can have it sitting up, or you can have it push them down a little. And then they go down about 1.5 inches, 2 inches in space as well. This with the previous BMWs, all you had to do for gasoline was push on the gasoline door, and it would open up. Granted that your car was unlocked. Well, since this is a plug-in hybrid, it's one extra step, a little tricky. What you have to do is you have to press the button and wait about 10 seconds, and then as soon as you walk around, it will open the door for you. It's not instant. It's about 8 to 10 seconds delay. What I was mentioning earlier, 10-way adjustable seats in here, so the back, the bottom, the back, and so forth. These are not multi-contour seats. They're not offered in this one, but you do have an option of getting the front and so forth. One of the things that are actually offered if you're buying a car and you're worried about, okay, you know, it's an X car with bigger and might have road noise and so forth, there's an option that BMW offers is acoustic glass. So your front windshield and your side windows can be acoustic glass, which actually helps protect the sound, keep the sound in, and keep the other sounds out that you might see while driving the car. Again, this is 30e, but you can obviously get it in different packages, different options. It maxes out at around 65, 66,000 depending on where you live. I want to give a shout out to BMW of Akron. They were kind enough to let me review their car, go through it inside, outside. So if you have any questions, I'll link the dealership down below. They ship nationwide. So if you have any questions, reach out to them and go from there. Thank you guys.